Hey, welcome back to the JMFG podcast. I'm your host, Johnny Glenn. Hey, I want to tell everybody thank you for all the subscribers for listening and watching. Got a pretty good show for you today. But before I kick off into the show, I want to send a shout out to Miss K. She sent me a sticker. Met Miss K during a race, Ultra, up in Black Mountain. I think it was Black Mountain. But anyways, it says, keep it simple, life is good. She sent this in the mail to me. So Miss K, thank you for that. I appreciate it. And those are some pretty cool words to live by. Keep it simple and life is good. Life is good if we're here on earth. If we woke up this morning, it's a good life if you ask me. Also, I want to send out a shout out. I sent a shout out last week to Miss Melissa. I finally got in touch with her. For all the people that didn't see the episode last year, she's the lady that stopped and helped my daughter Sarah when she was in her car wreck a few weeks back. But Miss Melissa, I want to tell you thank you. She texted me the other day and asked me, hey Johnny, on your show, can you send a shout out to this guy that stopped and helped my son on the interstate? So I want to send a shout out to that guy that stopped and helped the young man on the interstate. Thank you for that, sir. And that's what, this show is all about, helping through sharing. That's what life's all about. It's just paying it forward and helping the next person just to try to make this world a better place. So thank you, sir. I don't know your name. She didn't get your name. So thank you for, stopping and doing what you did. Also, I want to send a shout out to Chris Johnson, Chris Johnson's family. He's a deputy in North Carolina that got killed in a car accident. I didn't see all the details on it, but I heard it on the radio. So I wanted just to send out a condolence to his family. Hey, you're in my thoughts and prayers. I know it's hard to lose a loved one. It seemed like he was a great guy. Everybody speaking very highly of him. Plus, he was a servant to this great country, this great nation, to this good state of North Carolina. So to his family, my prayers are with you. I pray that you guys can get through this. And just know, he was doing what he loved to do. He was a servant of people, and he died doing what he loved to do. I don't think you can ask to go out any better way.
Absolutely.
Than the way that you know.
Yeah.
But having said that, guys, I'm gonna turn it over to my next guest. Great guy. I'm gonna let him introduce himself. As he's the butcher. He like to cut stuff up. But I'm gonna go and let him introduce himself. With no further ado, I'll turn it over.
My name is Jason Nauert. I'm also known as Jason the Butcher. I teach Army, Marines, all kinds of dudes. It's called Combat Sustainability. I basically teach them how to go from a live animal to eating it on your plate out in the field with very little tools and cooking and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Pretty basic job.
Well, I love Jason's being humble, y'all, but I got a chance. I was gone last week in Indiana over the weekend, but I got to go out the last couple of days to see the class. And the amount of knowledge those kids are learning, it's it's unperishable, first off. Yeah. And then second, it's stuff that they'll carry not only to their military career, into their home life and into the future as they move.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something I grew up, like our generation, I'm 50. I'll turn 51 this month. But it was just a general, that's what we grew up doing.
Right.
Grew up working on cars, building houses, hunting, fishing, outdoorsy, playing Rambo, because Rambo was huge back when I was a kid, you know what I mean? Growing up in the mountains of Colorado, we played Rambo and set our traps and did crazy stuff like that.
Yeah, Rambo was the reason why I became a Green Beret.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, John J. Rambo.
John J. Rambo, not John J. Glenn, or JMFG. But yeah, so let's back up. I got to ask, because I talked to Jason a little bit. So before you became Jason the Butcher, let's tell everybody what did you do prior to that.
All right, so a little bit of my background is I grew up in Colorado in the mountains. My dad was a contractor, so I grew up in construction, obviously. Okay. And then from there, after my parents got divorced, my mom remarried a retired police officer.
Okay.
And it was kind of one of those, he's like, hey, you're kind of a smart guy. You do drugs and something? I'm like, no.
You like guns?
Yeah, he's like, you ever thought about being a cop? I'm like, no, dirty pigs. kind of thing. You grow up in a small town. All the cops, they mess with you just to mess with you because they have nothing else to do.
Yeah.
But, so I was like, no, not really. I've never thought about it. And ended up going to the police academy. And then I got a job transporting basically federal prisoners across the country, which... you just sit behind the wheel and drive from prison to prison. It's a freaking horrible job.
Right.
I didn't like that job.
Yeah.
And I was just doing it as a place filler because I had filled out my application for my local sheriff's department that I grew up in, Sutter County. And they called me, I think it was a month, it was pretty quick, right? I think I only did 3 trips with that transport company. I was like, sweet. Get the hell off the road. So sheriff's office called. They said, hey, go take your poly, yada yada, go through the rigmarole. and here's the kicker. I was the only guy they interviewed that had like a 9-panel. Like they had the sheriff, the undersheriff, the lieutenant.
Oh, you had everybody there.
I had everybody, and I'm like, man,
I can't mess this up.
Yeah, it was kind of intimidating, but most of them knew my stepdad.
Right. Which is good.
Yeah, which is cool. They kind of knew it was, they knew they didn't know who I was, but they knew who I was.
Yeah.
Kind of deal, right? Yeah. So I'm in this 9-panel thing, and I'm like, fire, just questions coming at me, and I'm like, bing, 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 and they're like, you're hired.
That's awesome.
So I got my job.
Now, how long were you in the sheriff's department for?
I was there from, I want to say it was like 97, man, I'm getting old. It was like 97-ish to 03,
okay.
02,
so
I don't know, 03, I want to say 03, and then we were getting a new, like our undersheriff was becoming our sheriff, and like 5 of us were like, things are going to change.
Right.
Not really sure I want to change,
Good or bad.
Yeah, and I had a buddy, he was a state trooper, and he was like, hey man, I'm in Kosovo. And then I got a call from another buddy who was a bondsman, who used to be a cop, he was a Navy dude. He's like, hey, I'm in Bosnia. What are you doing? And I'm like, I just left the sheriff's office and I'm going to figure it out. And they're like, dude, send your info. So I sent my info on, I think that was like a it was like a Sunday or Monday. I was flying to Kosovo on Friday.
That's awesome.
I did the whole expedited passport and all that. Cost an arm and a leg and all that. But I landed Kosovo and I'm like,
this is different.
I'm like, what the hell?
What
am I getting myself into, man?
I love it.
I've never been to like place like that. Bullet holes in like buildings, driving down Bill Clinton Boulevard into downtown freaking Kosovo. So I was there for I want to say 6 or 7 months, and then I broke my heel bone.
Ooh.
Yeah.
How'd you do that?
Just walking and looking at, there's like a backpack or something, and I was just walking, and I got my foot wedged between 2 rocks. And it was one of those, you're like, uh-oh, and you just fall over. I felt it pop, and it was kind of like, it's probably just a sprain, right? And I knew, don't unlace that boot.
Exactly.
So I actually tightened it up a little bit, finished off my, we worked 14-hour shifts, 6 hours a day. So I finished my shift, got up in the morning, and my foot kind of swelled up, and I was like, something's up. So I went over to the Army doc on Camp Bonsteel. He looked at it. He was like, you probably should go home. Like, you got that's going and that's going. So I come home, and then they run me through CTs and all that kind of stuff.
That's how it broke up.
Yeah, they were like, yeah, it's broke. So I spent about 9 months in and out of casts. Okay. It's kind of weird how they treat it, because I had a tear where your Achilles comes and attaches to your hip bone. And they start out with my foot like straight, and then they just crank it slowly, and then they got some big male nurse behind me with a rope pulling, like trying to hyperextend my foot, and then they cast it real quick. So I did, got through that, and I was like, well, the doctor said you're not going to run for a while, like you're done. Like I ended up with flat foot because it just ripped the fascia material off my foot. So I was like, yeah, whatever. I didn't go back. I started applying at more sheriff's department, and it was around the time where the economy started to tank again. All hiring freezes everywhere, like all that crap was going on. I was like,
what am I going to do?
What am I going to do, man? So I ended up getting a job. I ran into a friend of mine. She was a Navy vet. She worked on the flight deck, and I guess she fucked her hip up real bad or something.
Nice.
And Blair was like, well, my boyfriend is a landscaper. Like, just give you a part-time job or a job until you figure out what the heck you're going to do. Exactly. So that turned into 9 years, almost 10 years.
Really?
I enjoyed it. Like, I love being outside, like breaking a sweat, like just working
putting
hard.
in work.
Working hard. Like, there's nothing like putting in a hard, solid day's worth of work, right? And while I was doing that, I started learning more about plant. Like, I grew up, my mom was like a big gardener. She loved to have her own garden and stuff like that. So I was like, man, I'm really into this. Like, I'm really liking this. So the owner, it was just a family-owned place. There was only like 4 or 5 employees. I was like, man, I really want to get into this deeper. So he sent me to CSU Extension's horticultural program.
Nice.
So I got my master gardener. Like, I went and took the class. They're like, you give me a day off, I take class. And
Okay.
Go do my Master Gardener. So I got my Master Gardener. And then when I hit about 39, I was like, all those injuries, like sports injuries, are starting to haunt me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know, my doc, I've had my same doc since I was 3 years old. He was like, told you, remember when I told you this all, when you get older, you're going to be feeling it.
You'll feel it. Okay.
Yeah. So, sure enough, I started feeling it, and we had a couple clients. Roger was a retired 05 out of the Air Force. Then he retired out of Lockheed Martin. Della was a retired, I think she was an 05 too, in the Navy.
Yeah.
And we called them the triple dippers.
Gotcha.
They had 3 different freaking retirement.
Yep.
I was like, holy cow. But I noticed Roger had a bow and he had targets and stuff. And I was like, hey. And he's like, yeah, I really want to learn how to hunt. And I was like,
I'm your man.
I'm the guy for you. So we end up we draw for deer. We get our deer licenses, and I take him deer hunting. And he shoots at a deer, and it briskets it. It didn't really hit it, but and Roger's like, I don't think hunting's for me. And I'm like, nothing wrong with that. Like, not everybody can kill an animal.
That's a
like,
fact.
I'm down with it, and I'm not going to berate you for it or anything like that. So I end up zapping a deer, skin it, gut it, you know, do all the stuff. I butcher it up. I bring meat over to their house. I cook it up. Della was huge into cooking and stuff like that. And I love to cook. I grew up with cooking with my mom and stuff like that. Loved it. And Della was like, why aren't you a chef? You know, and at the time, my wife's in college, right? She's trying to get her degree in tech writing and English and whatever. And I was like, I don't want to spend $50,000
Become a chef
for a culinary degree and start, you know, chopping lettuce for $8 an hour. You'll never pay that loan off, you know, at that rate. So I said, you know what? I love to butcher. Like, I just love it. And I've always had this thing in my mind where I'd love to have my own butcher shop.
There you go.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, we need to find, and there's no like real butcher schools, but we happened to find one that was attached to a culinary school up in Denver, Cook Street. So I go, you know, I call, and they're like, yeah, come on. I tour, meet everybody, I sign up, pay my $1,800 for the course. This pisses my wife off. She's like, you spent $1,800 and look where you are. I spent $114,000.
And I'm still made up on.
And I can't. You know, we still got 15 years worth of loans to pay out. It's ridiculous. But so I'm like, cool. I'm gonna sign up for this course. So I sign up. I show up first day, and I'm like, most of the people in that class were chefs, and like they already know butchering and all that. They're just trying to refine their skill. And I'm like, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
You know.
Plus you've been butchering animals from
and you know, I was butchering squirrels when I was like 5 years old, and rabbits and all that. That was the other part of it. Was I'd watch my dad and my brothers, you know, my uncle, they're just hacking meat off. There's a roast, and there's maybe a steak, whatever, and you know, my mom would cook it, and it's like shoot. You know, it's the time, 70s and 80s when I grew up, right? So I was like, all right, I'm really gonna like concentrate on this. Like, this is what I'm gonna do, because I was just fascinated with it. So for an entire year, I did landscaping Monday through Friday. And then, the class was 6-8 weeks or whatever it was. So I went through that. About halfway through, he goes, man, Jason, you and I are going to talk. I go, okay. His name was Mark. I'm like, okay, what are we talking about? He's like, you know, we're going to talk after this. And I was like, yeah, I'm really interested. I want to like further my career in this.
Right.
And he's like, well, let's see how you do in the end. And he goes, you're smoking everybody here. You know, there's 1,700 people here, and you're doing awesome. One part I struggled with was like the book part.
Oh yeah, same here.
Having dyslexia and all that, I was just like, da 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 da. But he put a knife in my hand. I'm like, just carve it. Like, here you go, bro. And he's like, holy crap, you know. So I get through the class, and then I spent that year working on the weekends as a stage for free.
Okay.
Right. So I worked landscaping Monday through Friday. Take a shower, drive to Denver, go do a couple events Friday night, Saturday, come back home Sunday afternoon, Sunday night.
Right back Monday working.
Yeah, and you know it's a lot of work, but I figured if I'm gonna pursue this, I need to go 100% or just keep doing horticulture stuff, right? You know, and it all ties together at the end. Like what you grow, the food, the animals you raise, like everything ties together at some point. So I just started getting my name out. Like, Mark was taking me to food events and introducing me to all these like really high-end chefs in Denver. And I met Jose Rosenberg. He won, I think, Top Chef Season 5 or something. So I ended up doing some butchery for him. Then I was getting hired by other like restaurateurs. They're like, hey, come in and teach my sous chef how to butcher lamb.
Nice.
And I was like, well, what do I charge, Mark? And he's like, just throw a fucking stupid number out.
Yeah, and just so
I was like $600 for like 2 hours of instruction.
Okay, cool.
They're like,
no.
and then the next one, and then the next one, and I'm like,
I can make a
man,
living.
I can make a living on this if I do this right.
Yeah.
So it was the end of 2013 into 2014, Mark was like, hey, I want to go back to corporate America, and he kind of let me take over the school and do instruction. He was kind of in the background helping me,
Right.
but I was teaching classes now. I was his assistant first for a class or two, and then
Now you're teaching classes.
and now I was teaching classes.
Trainer.
Yeah, exactly. And then got some random email from 10th Special Forces Group. Now, mind you, I don't really know. I know about
Nothing about that.
I don't know about SS. Like, I know what a Green Beret is.
Right.
I know what a Navy SEAL. You know,
Yeah.
John Wayne. You know,
Yeah, I got you.
Rambo,
Yeah.
like Green Beret, and all that. So I'm like, what? And they're like asking all these questions, and I was like, Mark, what do you? And he's like, that's a you problem, not a me problem. I'm like, okay. He's like, you figure it out. I think he regrets that now. I know he does, but whatever. And so I meet up with them. I remember this like it was yesterday. I come to the gate, handed my driver's license, and the guy's like, where are you going? Because I'm a civilian.
Yep.
And I said, I'm supposed to meet guys from 10th group, like right over there.
Right.
And he's like, okay. Like, what do you... And all of a sudden, here comes a dude, like two dudes in a car, going the wrong way down the gate.
Of course.
Parked sideways, and we're like, yo, let's go, Jay! And the guy was like, there's your boys. And I followed the little 10th group compound thing.
Yeah.
And they're giving me a tour, and I'm like, holy crap, this is cool. How am I here?
That's
Like,
pretty
where
cool.
did this happen? So we spent from basically January to, I want to say July-ish, kind of developing a program.
Okay.
In unison, asking ACF, the American Culinary Federation,
Right.
can I teach this class? You know, I'm a butcher, and Mark was very dialed in with the ACF,
Right.
like the presidents and stuff like that. And they were like, present us with what you got. So I did, and they're like, absolutely, do whatever you need to do. We support the military.
That's awesome.
1,000,000%. Like
I
whatever.
want to send a shout out to
the ACF.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, they're like, we will support you 100%.
Right.
Whatever you want to do, Jason, it's done.
That's awesome. That's good stuff.
Yeah, and I'm working with National now, and they're pretty much the same way. They're like,
That's good.
this is what you're doing for our soldiers, then we'll make it happen for you.
Yep.
So we get through that. We kind of develop a quasi program.
Mm-hmm.
So all I did really was took all my hunting knowledge, you know,
Yep.
at the time like 30 years, 25, whatever it was, and then melded that together with a professional butcher program.
Oh yeah.
Presented that, and they were like, go. Yeah, thumbs up, go. So here you go. I handed over to at the time he was Sergeant First Class Myron Billingsley.
Okay.
He's the one him and another guy, Eric Ewok. They developed, like, they'd been working on this for a couple of years, and they couldn't find anybody, and I was the only dude that they found, me or Mark. But
That's
Mark
pretty
wasn't in it anymore.
So you're doing it all.
Because I was buying the company from him.
Right.
And I bought this company for 10 G's.
That's awesome, man.
I got one of the guys that went through the course. He was an older. His name's Steve Winkler. He's my silent business partner, and he was like, "Hey, I want to be a part of this.
Smart.
I'll front the money. You do the work. We won't
We'll
worry
figure
about
it
it.
out.
We'll
Yeah,
figure it
we'll figure it
out
out.
later on."
Yeah.
I was like,
So now for all the people out there, I'm gonna cut Jason off real quick. Not cut you off, but for all the people out there that don't know, when he says he's going to 10 Special Forces Group, that means he's in Colorado. All Special Forces Group, they're broken down in different areas of the world. That's their area of operation, their AO. So, 10th group, they got their AO, 3rd group's got their AO, 5th group, 7th group. Everybody's got their different AOs in the world and where they go, and that's where their language specialties and stuff like that.
yeah.
Where Jason comes into play, or where I think this is very valuable, which we're going to talk a lot about here in the next, 20, 30 minutes, is the fact that I've been in permissive environments, non-permissive environments.
Yeah.
I've been where whatever you got to eat is whatever's there.
Yeah.
And I've seen guys eat, I've done it. You've eaten bad goat or bad cow or bad sheep, bad lamb. you eat just bad meat because one, we just know guys don't know what they're doing, or we do shit wrong, or we cook it wrong, or usually we eat off the counter. And then a guy gets dysentery or a guy gets sick, you know. I've been in places in Africa where you're laying on a cot, they cut a hole out, and you're blowing chunks out one end and leaning over and blowing chunks out this end, and you got two IVs.
That's what was described to me.
Yeah.
I was like, what is like, what are you guys trying to accomplish? And the way they described it was, imagine guys up on a mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Dudes are attacking them. They're trying to shoot, but they all got some sort of foodborne illness because they ate some crappy, you know, Afghani whatever food or whatever, and now they're diarrhea, vomiting.
And you're
still trying to be in the fight, right? So they had to find a better way. And the other part was like nice, lean, clean protein for GVs, right? So that's how that kind of came into play, and I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense, right? Totally makes sense. So we do a class, and I think it was like Wednesday, Myron's like, hey, can we do another one of these next week? And I was like,
sure.
No. I was like, no. He goes, what do you mean no? And I'm like, dude, I gotta get animals again. I gotta make sure.
He thought you could do it like right there.
Yeah, he thought I could just make it happen. Yeah, and we were using my buddy's farm, Alex Seidel. He's a James Beard Award winning chef.
Oh, nice.
I think he won his award in 18, I believe. Just salt to the earth, amazing human being, love the guy to death. And he's like, yeah, use my farm. Like, and then I, you know, just started using the connects that I had. I found a rancher that could supply this and somebody could supply that. And then eventually I found one person like you that can just supply everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, give me a week and we'll do another one. So we skipped a week. I got everything lined out. We did another one. We skipped a week and we did another one.
Nice.
And I was like, holy crap, is this going to be a thing? And I'm looking like at work, at my normal job, and I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing landscaping anymore.
Yeah, I'm dedicated to this now.
Yeah, because Myron was like, hey, we want to do this once a quarter, every year.
Nice.
And then he goes, oh, by the way, third group's going to be calling you. I'm like, how's third group? And then he, you know, next thing I know, third group's like, yeah, we want to fly you out. Like, you come out here. And
just in case they didn't tell you, all the other groups, they're groups. Third group is the only group.
Third group is all.
Third group is the only group. All my other groups out there, I love you guys, but we're the only group.
But 10th group's my home.
10th group's home, right?
Yeah, they're the one who started it. The originals.
I guess the OGs.
The OGs, yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, so then third group. And then I heard from a ranger bat. And then it just it's kind of morphed from there.
Right. You done a lot of stuff with Marshak too, or?
Nothing with Marshak yet. I do work with the Marines, like the conventional Marines.
I'm going to reach out to some Marshak guys. So Jason, I'll be reaching out to you. Latham, I'll be reaching out to you. And these are all Marshak guys.
Yeah.
And the reason why I reach out to you guys is because Jason's been doing the class for the last 4 or 5 days out of the farm.
Yeah.
He's been at my farm doing a class. And I'll be honest, dude. Everybody knows me, I grew up hunting. Like, I'm probably the biggest hunter you can ever meet.
You and me, like, archer, you kill it.
That's it. And then skin it. But watching what he's doing out there and teaching these guys how to, you know, take a goat, a sheep, a cow, a pig, skin it, hang it, and then they meet. Today, now out there making sausage. But I thought it was
fresh
pretty
sausage.
impressive. I've never really made my own sausage. I can do ground meat, mix it up, you know, patties and stuff.
Yeah.
But seeing guys take casings and make the meat themselves, right, in a 4 or 5 day class, that is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And then also they're getting a cert, right? You want to talk about the cert they get?
Yeah. So they get 40 hours of continuing education.
That's awesome.
For like, let's say they want to be a sous chef or a master chef or something. You have to do these types of classes in order to get those certs.
And now they got these classes.
Now they got this class. You know, I'm working with the ACF. I want to build it into something really big.
I think that's awesome.
We don't have butcher schools in the U.S. We have a couple people that have tried to do butcher schools, but it's never really become anything. You go to Europe, and you learn how to be a butcher.
Right.
You know, stuff like that. So my end goal is to actually create like a full-on butcher school.
Well, if you don't create
degree, like you get an associate's degree in butchery.
Now, what I like to see, and this is me talking for the military side of the house, like the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, and even maybe law enforcement guys, I like to see, and I think when you talk about this too, it's just like it's incorporated into like the chef's training. If you got a cook in the Army or the Navy, he's going through training. Why not throw in that week or 2 week block instruction?
Yeah. Where
you bring animals and they actually learn how to do it humanely.
Yeah.
Because I know we got people out there, don't get me wrong, nobody's going to love animals more than Jason, me and Jason.
No.
He met my dog out there. He's like, dude, I'm taking your dog. I know I'm taking your dog. But I love animals, but I also love to eat.
Yeah,
And my thing is, if you're gonna do it right,
exactly.
and get the right training so you're not getting people sick.
Yeah, so we do live inspection of the animals. You
Mhm.
look at the eyes, the
Yep.
nose, the mouth, the anus, the hooves, the hot. Like you look at everything as a
Mhm.
whole. Is
Right.
it up? Is it moving? Is it happy? Is it with its buddies?
Right.
Is it laying in the corner with its ears down by itself?
Yeah.
Is it moving real slow with its head down? Those are indicators that I look for in the
Right.
beginning. And then from there, we teach them the proper way per use of stock policy,
Mhm.
you know, the ethical and humane way, which I think I go above and beyond what even use of stock
Oh, yeah.
requires,
Mhm.
you know. I'm an animal lover. I get choked up when I kill a certain animal, like a cow.
So
Man, I was like, I don't want to do this. I really don't want to kill this cow for her.
So I got this cow for Jason, right? And mind you, bought this cow, great cow, off a good farm.
Beautiful.
Beautiful cow. And I'm not like the type to fall in love. People are like, hey, what's your animal's name? I'm like, breakfast, lunch, dinner, T-bone, Salisbury steak. You know, that's the name if I got to name him. But I brought this animal back to the farm, and I told Jason, I was like, hey, man, I like this cow. Because when we loaded it, she walked right up on the trailer.
She's
walked right off the
docile.
trailer. She was docile. She's a female. And I can tell she's never been bred. She's a beautiful heifer. She's red with a white face.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I love to see her breed with my bull. And so I'm waiting to go to Indiana, and I said, hey, Jason, if you can, man, give me a day, don't kill that cow. Let me see if I can find you.
Yeah, we waited till the second day.
Dude, I called
the second day.
10 farmers. I called Mr. Brooks. I called every farmer I could think of. Derek. I called Vic. I'm like, hey, man, y'all got a cow about 800 to 900 pounds? No, man, not quite that big. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
And then I was like, hey, go ahead, bro. I know you're running the class. No worries.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I felt bad, but
Oh, yeah, but she's a beautiful cow, though.
yeah, she'll eat good.
Oh, yeah. but having said that, I just wanted to throw that out there because a lot of people that's watching this, I know all my buddies, we love animals, which is great. But having said that, I want people to know that you're not out there just, hey, I'm going to go shoot 10 rounds in this animal.
No,
You know.
no way.
Can you describe to people how you actually kill animals?
So I go through the whole spiel, and one of my main hitting points is if you had to put your cat or your dog down,
Right.
would you treat your cat or your dog horribly?
No.
Would you throw it on the ground? Would you kick it? Would
Exactly.
you manhandle it and all that? Absolutely not. And I tell these kids this: you will not do those types of things to these animals.
Mhm.
Like if you're rough with an animal, you're done. You're out.
That's good.
I got nothing to do for it with
That's
you.
good.
You know, so we do like I'll have an animal like a goat or something that's kind of stressed out. And I'll be like, nope, set her aside, let her
Yep.
relax for a while,
Mhm.
just leave her alone. We'll
Yep.
get her last or tomorrow or something. That's the type of thing that I teach these guys. Like, if it's stress, it's going to affect the meat a little
Oh, yeah.
bit.
Mhm.
And it's also I don't want a stressed out animal just because I don't care about the meat. It could be as tough as that's a you problem,
Yeah,
right?
as long as you
Chew
eat
it.
Oh, yeah, chew it up.
You know, that kind of thing.
Exactly.
I'm more concerned about the animal than I am the
Right.
soldier at that
Mhm.
point.
Yep. Which you should be.
Yeah, absolutely. So we use what's called a captive bolt stunner. It's a big steel tube about that long. You put like a 9 mil blank in it, and it's got a steel rod on a spring. And what happens is the rod comes out about yay far, and what we're trying to accomplish is like a painless death.
Right.
Right? And so you do you put it where it needs to be, ear to eye, right at the top of the X marks the spot. And what you're trying to do is hammer through and hit the frontal lobe so it doesn't kill them.
Yeah.
It just knocks them
them out.
completely unconscious. I mean, I've had animals where I've hit them, they've dropped, and then they stood up, and I'm like,
Yeah.
they're tough. They're just animals are tough, man.
Oh, yeah, they are.
People don't get it. Like
Oh,
they
yeah.
just don't. Like I hit a sheep once, like dead smack, brain matter coming out, and she just looks up at me, and I'm like.
Right.
And another point that I teach is your energy dictates that animal's energy.
Oh, yeah.
So, we went over this with 82nd. If, let's say your hit doesn't go just perfect, then you need to remain calm. I'll be there and with you.
Mhm.
We'll change the round out, and then you hit her again or
Right.
again or whatever.
Mhm.
And I try and I really instill that your energy
Oh, yeah.
dictates what's going to happen with this animal. So if you go in all like, they're going to be like, whoa, dude, I don't want anything to do with you.
And I think you
know?
can, now that you say that, I think you can sense that energy too.
You absolutely can.
And the reason why I say that is I've been bow hunting forever.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been times, like I shot some nice deer this year. And I remember sitting there looking at a deer at 35 yards and I'm like, why shoot 35 yards?
Yeah.
When I got a doe right here moving and pulling a buck 20 yards.
Yeah.
So I remain calm. And for me, usually when I draw and I shoot, I don't get like the adrenaline rush till after my arrow hits that animal.
I'm the same way.
Oh my god, oh my god.
I don't get the
let
buck
energy out.
fever.
Yeah, I don't get the buck fever, yeah.
Because, you know, my wife and I had this conversation. It's, for me, and I was telling Chris Morris about it, for me, it's not so much about the hunt, it's
Right.
being connected to nature.
Oh yeah, that's it.
I've gone
Yeah.
deer hunting and never got a deer, but
Mhm.
could have smoked like 30 deer
Oh, yeah.
in a season.
Mhm.
Like I've had like little baby deer walk
Yep.
3 feet in front of me
Mhm.
to where I'll just take my arrow and go boop, hit them on the ass and they
Oh, yeah.
run. Like,
Oh,
where'd
yeah.
that come from? You
Yeah.
know,
Mhm.
kind
Yeah.
of thing. So for me, it's
But it's
more
nature.
it's more about being out in the woods. Like I went rabbit hunting before we came here. There's rabbit tracks all over the place. I didn't
Yeah.
see one friggin' rabbit, but I walked 15 miles
Yeah.
in knee-high snow.
And that block.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Breathing heavy, like, and I was like, I love my life right now.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that kind of thing.
That's it.
So yeah, that's kind of the program. It's morphed into some of the other guys are like your D cell, Air Force D cell type people. You know, Soul Seed,
Right.
CAG. Those
Mhm.
guys, the support cooks at CAG, they're kind of like, can you teach us how to cook outside too?
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
So I'll teach them how to make like rock ovens.
Mm-hmm.
Teach them how to take the animal hide, make a teepee, wrap it, build a smoke box
Mm-hmm.
out of what you have out there, and feed them the coals. You know, we made bacon out in the field.
Yeah.
You know, pulled pork out in the field. Like how to make an iron cross and hang the animal over the fire, and
Yep.
you know, hitting it with olive oil or water with herbs.
Mhm.
You know, every 20 minutes, stuff like that. So those are like the add-ons that they want.
Right. So what I like to say is the guys that I saw did today, these are 80-second cooks, right?
Yeah.
And I will say, man, everybody was engaged. Everybody's having a good time.
Yeah, they were great.
Oh, they were getting there, get it?
And I'm not just saying this to say it.
Yeah.
That crew was fantastic.
Oh, yeah. Dude, they left the farm. I know you left, but when they left, dude, everything was cleaned up. I was like,
Yeah,
good lord.
you know, they had their 2 NCOs out there,
Yep.
Segura and Soto, and they were just like, "What are we doing?"
Yep.
And Segura's been through my class. He came from 10th group,
Right.
And it's just like bam, 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 bam.
Yeah.
Like do this, do this, do this, and they're in it. I get group classes where I'm like wrangling cats on crack.
Gotcha. Yeah.
You know, you got the one kid on the phone
Yeah.
because he thinks he's TDY and he's just gonna breeze through the class,
Mhm.
and then I torture him at 10,000 feet at my place.
Good.
You
That's
know,
good.
because we'll kill a cow down on the road and I'll make them drag that thing like 100
Okay.
yards at an
Oh, good.
incline.
Yep.
You
I
know,
like it.
Rangers love that
Get,
shit.
oh, yeah, I should get some
Oh.
work in there.
Fucking Rangers are like,
That's good stuff.
can we go another 100 yards? And I'm like, calm down, dude, calm down.
No,
Are we
we
okay,
butcher.
bro? Yeah.
So now, one thing I add to that too is you kill, and this for all the listeners, that hey, if you want to get in touch with Jason, let me know, and I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
you get all this stuff at the end of this. But what I'll say is this too, even for hunters, because I've been hunting my whole life, cutting deer my whole life, some of the techniques you used that I really like I thought they were
Yeah.
I thought they were awesome. But having said that, what I was going to say is that one thing I do like about the class, because you butchered one cow, what do we have, 10 goats?
Yeah, it was
Well-
like 1 cow, 2 hog. We were gonna be 4 hogs.
Yep. 2 hogs died, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was pneumonia.
yeah, it happens.
Yeah, they were little too.
Oh, yeah.
No big deal. Yeah, so 1 cow, 2 pigs, and it's usually like 5 sheep and 6 goats or 6 sheep. But we had a few sheep in there that we didn't buy.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
I'm looking at one. I'm like,
I'll take it.
I don't remember, but I'll take it.
I'll
man,
take it.
no
We're gonna
problem,
cook it.
man. Yeah.
And what I was going to get at is that after this, those guys are doing ruck on Monday, right?
Friday.
Friday.
They're feeding them on Friday.
So for everybody watching this, that think that Jason just out there slaughtering animals, no. But what the 82nd cooks did, they came out, they cleaned everything, they made sausages, they had chops, they had steaks, they did all this stuff, and they're going to feed how many people?
I think it's like 400.
So they're going to feed 400 people on Friday, which I think is awesome.
Yeah.
Because now they can take pride and say, hey,
Yeah.
from off the hoof to the oven to the stove to the plate.
They
to the
made
table.
what, like 65 pounds of sausage?
Yeah, they made
like
a lot of
60,
sausage.
70 pounds of
Dude, I
sausage.
wanted to ask so bad for like a couple inch sausages to
You
try.
should have just asked.
Because it smelled phenomenal. And what I like, they all did different seasoning.
Yeah.
Like one kid was Italian, he's like, I'll make some Italian sausage.
Yeah.
Dude, it looked and smelled phenomenal. And then one kid did some smoked with cheese, whatever he had.
Yeah, I think Soto did chorizo.
Yeah. And I was like, man, these kids are, I'm sitting there
Yeah.
looking like, oh, that's one.
It's
Let me get one of those.
it's pretty, like, I look back at the past 10 years and it's just like, man, I met some really good kids.
Yeah.
I met some really cool people.
Oh.
Like you,
Just average.
Chris.
Just average.
Chris is one. Yeah,
Yep.
you know.
But we see,
How did I end up here is the
Yeah.
question.
as an operator, we see the benefit. We see the,
Yeah,
like, hey, dude, no shit. We need this.
yeah,
Like, you know, because I've seen times that we've been in Afghanistan, I'll butcher go quick. It's a deer.
yeah,
I can butcher that thing in 20 minutes and then cut it up. But what you do is you add that whole level of professionalism. Me, I'm cutting out the backstrap, tenderloins, cutting it up into chunks,
Yeah.
you're actually making steaks. You know, like,
yeah. So I teach them like the primal cuts, the sub primes,
Yeah.
and where your retail cuts come
Exactly.
from, right? And I talk about cooking methods. Why am I going to cook this roast different from this roast? Well, the further up towards the head of the animal,
Yep.
the more fat there is, which
Oh, yeah.
gives more flavor, but it also means it's going to cook quicker.
quick cooker. Yep.
When you get towards the ass of the animal,
Mm-hmm.
you got bigger cuts with no real amounts of fat in them,
Right.
except for buried between the eye round, the top round, and the bottom
Yep.
round, that one little socket
Mhm.
where the main
Or
artery
fat.
comes.
Yep. Exactly.
Right? That's the only fat on the legs.
Mm-hmm.
So how am I going to cook that? And I explain that like this is why you're cooking this way. This
The way
is
it
why
is,
you're
yeah.
cooking things
Mhm.
this way. And it goes for one of my favorite things to do if you come to Colorado is we'll take the heart, liver, lungs, and kidneys of all the animals, and while they're butchering, I'll make them a meal. I call it the organ stew.
Nice.
So I'll put everything in there,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll throw some diced meat in there in the pot, and I'll let it go for like 4 or 5 hours, and then make some rice.
Throw it
And
over
then
rice.
they come over,
Yeah.
everybody gets their cup, and they're just like, I got guys that are like, there's no way I'm eating freaking like
Yeah.
liver
Liver, heart,
and,
yeah.
and I'm like, my one requirement is you have to try it.
At least try it. Yeah, just
And
try
as
it.
soon as they have their first bite, they're like, oh my god, that's the best thing I've ever had.
Yeah.
And then the next thing you know, they're just eating bowl after bowl after bowl after bowl. And it's just, I don't know, it's very rewarding.
Hey, so the guy, the meat eater, I started making deer ceviche. I think I told you about it. I love it. It is phenomenal. I make it.
Yeah.
But if the meat eater guy out there, I don't even know what his name is,
Ranella.
Ranella. Hey, if you're out there watching, this is a guy you need to, and I know the meat eater guy, I'm not saying you don't know what you're doing, because he does
Yeah,
other stuff that I'm
yeah.
watching. But it'd be awesome to see you link up with that guy. Have me come on the show and shoot the animal, and then this guy can butcher
Yeah.
it. It's a package deal. With
You know, it's funny is somebody that at every class I get asked the same question: how fast can you take an animal, like from death to skin, gut, hanging, whatever? And I always use the last elk I shot was like 4. I haven't hunted in 4 years because I'm just busy with youth with the military.
Mhm.
Like, I
That's good, though.
freaking stop, man. My last cow elk on a slope about like that at about 10,000 feet, 1.5 foot of snow, 3 feet, whatever it was, 45 minutes.
That's awesome.
Skinned her, gut her, went through everything, quartered her, bagged her, had everything ready for. And one of the guys that came out, he was a GB. He tracked me.
Nice.
He was hunting across the street in a different unit, and he heard me. He heard a shot.
He's going to
and
take it
yeah,
out.
and he was like, "Oh,
He's over. You wounded it, and
He
he'll kill
knows,
it.
yeah, right. And I don't wound. I'm not into wounding.
I'm with you
shit.
on that.
I
No, I like to
one
kill.
shot, one kill,
Yep.
baby. And I was like, God, Dave, how did you find me? He's like, oh, and I found your Toyota, your FJ, and then I just followed. Because my feet are like this.
Oh, yeah.
I walk like a fucking duck.
So
And he's like, I just followed your duck
Oh, yeah.
tracks up the
That's
hill.
awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's good.
So yeah, man, I just love what I don't even work. People are like, what's your job? And I'm like, I don't have a job.
Butcher.
Yeah, I'm.
Hey, I said that.
Butcher,
Hey,
man.
I'm wearing it. He butchers.
Oh,
That boy don't work. He butchers. Look at that. Let me stand up so we can get this on.
JTB, baby.
JTB. Jason the Butcher. I'm wearing it.
Nice.
I like it, dude.
I got mine on too.
Look
But
at
mine
you.
says the instructor.
So he had to one up me. You know, he had to one up me. I
Jason
like
the
it.
instructor. You want one of Jason the instructor?
I like it. No, I'll give you one JMFG instructor. I like it.
Nice.
But hey, Jason the Butcher. Hey guys, we're gonna wrap this up. De facto code. These are the knives that Jason.
Yeah.
You wanna talk about those, or?
The knives are de facto. Right now they're made overseas, but the owner of de facto, him and I partnered, and now we have de facto defense, and we're looking at Valhalla knives up by Charlotte.
Nice.
So we're bringing like more work back to the U.S.
I like it.
U.S. made everything. Because I told him, I said, if we're going to do this with the military, our shit's got to be made in the
I like it,
USA,
dude. Make it in the
bro.
USA. I like
And
it.
then by veterans is even better.
Hey, represent that everybody
Yeah.
blue. Hey, Jason brought me a coin, guys. We're gonna put this up in JMFG podcast room. I got a coin holder up there.
Yeah.
I'll get it up there and put it. It says Rocky Mountain Institute of Meat. I like it. Respect life.
Yes.
That's good stuff, man. I like it, man.
Respect life and inspired.
I like it. And that's what we try to do on the show, man. It's helping through sharing. We're just trying to inspire that next person.
Yeah, I mean, if I could hit on it real quick.
Go ahead.
One thing I like to tell people is, you know, especially these young soldiers, is, you know, follow your passion.
That's it.
Like 100%. If you follow your passion, no matter what that route is, I'm 50 years old. It took me till I was 39 years old to figure out what the hell I wanted to do with my life. But once I figured it out,
you're loving it.
My life is like smooth sailing, man.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure mine out, but I'm just a hot mess.
Who cares? Like,
exactly.
Whatever makes you happy.
That's it.
You know,
Yep.
and be willing, once you figure that out, be willing to do whatever it takes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I worked for a year for free.
Yeah.
You know, and
about
I
them
gave up my
sacrifices.
weekends. I had my wife, like, supported me 100%.
That's
She's
good,
like,
man.
if this is what your passion is, let's
Go
get
get
her
it.
done, buddy.
That's awesome.
And now my wife gets to sit at home and chill out with our 4 dogs.
That's pretty
I'm
cool.
like, you don't need to work right now.
That's pretty cool, man. And you deserve it. She deserves it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
She
good stuff,
supported my crazy ass
I love it,
for
dude.
so long.
That's good stuff. Now you support her, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like it, man.
That's what it's about. But follow your passion
No,
and be willing to sacrifice something to get something in the end.
I like it. You
Absolutely.
want to go and tell everybody Instagram?
It's Jason the Butcher.
Hey, Jason the Butcher. You seen it right here. We're on the JMFG podcast, Jason the Butcher. So, hey, everybody watching, thank you for all the subscribers. If you like what we're putting out, go to that little black tab at the top that says subscribe. Subscribe. Stay tuned to the next show. We got some more guests coming at you. I just want to tell Jason, hey, thank you for everything you're doing for the military.
Thank you,
brother.
bro.
It's going to make a difference because I've been that guy on the other end,
Yeah.
blowing out of both ends, whether it's your butt, your mom, and not being able to operate for a week, man.
Yeah.
You're down for a whole week. 2 weeks.
Foodborne illness is no joke.
It sucks, man.
It'll
It
kill you
sucks.
too if you're not careful.
And for the 87 kids that was out there, I told them, they said they was going to watch this
Yeah.
episode.
Hey guys, great job. You're like, I can't say enough about you guys.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Hey,
Like, they were amazing.
they were. You guys rocked it, and I know a lot of you guys really like the farm. So if you guys want to come out, hang out, man, my number is 919-353-9310. Again, 919-353-9310. You guys want to come hang out, just chill out at the farm, chill with Emery. Just give me a call, shoot me a text.
Coolest dog in the
I'll
world.
set up. Yeah, he's a good dog.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I appreciate
All right,
you,
bro.
That's good stuff.